The only other thing is we need to talk about the roof for this building. Some different quotes. We could decide what type.
I mean, that's probably the biggest thing when we're talking about the roof is, if you want to go back with what's originally up there right now, I don't think that's going to involve a fire marshal or anything like that. If we're going to go with a sloped roof, or at least look at that, I think we're going to have to get an engineer in here or something, an architect in.
I'm still worried about drainage on that.
Draw that up. I mean, and I know that they kind of blew it off the last time we talked about. Those guys weren't, I don't know if I call them architects or not, but they did talk about drainage, and I know it's a bigger deal than, it was a big deal, but they had quite a little bit of money in their plan for it. I mean, it was like 60 grand for it.
It was 85,000 they thought, but they weren't quite sure how to do it.
And that'd be something that would really need to be addressed on,
Yeah.
you know, how to get rid of it.
Then we need to talk about some companies that would look at the same type of roof that's there. I mean, if this roof lasted 27 years.
The one thing that we did talk a little bit about at our meeting last week was Lake Auburn's sitting now at nearly 90 days not hearing back from a fire marshal for that family and consumer science renovation. And the only thing I brought up to the group that met was just that if there is ever a consideration for a type of roof that would require an engineer and architect to get plans approved to the fire marshal, my advice as I'm leaving would be, we used to talk about 6 weeks. Now I guess we need to talk about 90 days or more. And that have to be built into some sort of timeline, which means that you kind of got to get moving here, or you're going to miss next summer's window if that's what you'd like to have happen, depending on the kind of roof, again, that you're talking about. So
The only other thing that Bruce brought up is, it actually came up when we were talking about touching up the ceiling on the auditorium, is that the Greg Brown, the
Garland Roofing.
From Garland Roofing, the ones that actually were involved in putting that new roof on that building. He was supposed to be contacted. He usually comes and contacts the school in July, I think. I think Bruce was going to try and set a fire on him and get him here sooner, and that would be another, Bruce was going to talk to him again about looking at this, because they do every kind of roof. They do a rubber roof, they do sloped roof, they do all that stuff. Garland Roofing does. He was the first guy that came and talked to us that nobody seemed to, he didn't come off very well. That's the guy. But he would probably know a little bit more about engineering and things like that, because I think he kind of felt like he got left out when we went with that other group from Missouri or whatever, and was saying, how can you do that without involving an engineer and things like that? And he might have been more right than we thought.
Can we call in the people that do the other kind of roofs? I mean,
As far as,
well, Anderson Roofing probably is the one that put this roof on, from here, Andrews, and then also the kind of roofs that we have on all the flat buildings downtown.
yeah, I mean, we kind of did that a little bit. Well, Andrews was supposed to look and draw up specs, and they actually ended up just giving us a bid or something, or a quote, or estimate or something. So yeah, those people can be contacted. It's up to the board to decide what they want to do, I guess.
When did Andrews give you a quote?
I asked a question, I'm
Sure.
sure. These roofs that are on here, I'm probably a proponent of sloping roofs, but you've got the flat roof now. I think that the flat roof repairs that they make today, I think they'll give you a warranty on that thing that'll probably run out to 25 or 30 years. And I think the price will be a lot cheaper than putting any slope roof on here. I'm just wondering about the cost effectiveness of doing a built-up roof.
Right. Originally what they talked about, and I don't know if it was
Andrews Roofing.
or another one, that they said 10 years was as long as it did every year.
What do we have on the gym down there?
15 or 20, Chuck, I'm not sure which it is.
Did you have to pay for that, or did it come with that? Did it just come with it?
We paid about an extra $1,500 for it.
Well, that's-
The roof project was 22 or 23,000 complete. With
The guy that did my room up there gave me 15 years. No money. 15-year guarantee. And that was additional insulation too, so.
Well, that would be the other thing that would be something to consider, is there's very little insulation, if any, up here now.
They're getting better materials and better systems for doing this I don't like flat roofs, but you've got the flat roof. And I just wonder how much it's going to involve the changes, especially when you get involved with the fire marshal, with an architect or an engineer. I think you could run into a lot of money.
I'd like to see a slope roof on it just because if it had a slope roof to begin with, we wouldn't be talking about it now.
Right, you wouldn't be.
So I'm not gonna be on the board 25 years from now or 20 years from now, I hope. Somebody else is gonna be talking about it again, and that's my biggest
So
problem.
you
with
do
it.
have a quote from Andrews, or you don't, or this was before?
He came and gave specs, and I don't remember exactly how it was, but was it Andrews or was it some spray paint guy that actually came in and did it differently? I can't. Anyway, those people can be contacted, that's not a big deal.
I was gonna say, I don't have a quote, so it might be an estimate, by taking a look at the side of the I would say what Dr. Feeney is gonna need is, if I were him going into this next meeting, I wouldn't be sure what he wanted me to do about the road. So I'm gonna ask to make sure that he and I are clear about what you'd like for the next meeting, or 2 meetings from now, or, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, I'm just, if I were gonna continue here, I wouldn't be sure what you wanted me to do about the road.
Well, can we call Andrews and have him come take a look, and then if, do you want to look at one of those insulation foam companies?
Iowa Spray Foam would come in and tell you if they could do it, what they'll do it for, and what kind of a warranty they'll put on it.
The guy that came and looked at the roof was the one that did all of them in town. They didn't give us a bid, just, oh, I put on this air gun roof you had, but they'll put on insulation, and then that urethane, and then if it hails on it or something, they'll come back and they mill it up like they do a road, and they put on more foam, and then they, whatever.